It's the Innovation at Work radio show with Winston Edmondson. Are you a small business owner with high hopes? An inspiring entrepreneur with big dreams? For the next hour, Winston exhibits his blueprint for success in your land of hopes and dreams. And now, here's your host, Winston Edmondson.
Welcome to the Innovation at Work radio show, the only show that has a strong focus on entrepreneurs. I'm just a fan of folks that want to get out there and compete in the free market, and I like to bring them on the show and highlight them, talk a little bit about what they do and why they started. This show is going to be a little different, though, because if you've been listening, I've had a lot of successful people that talk about the fact that they got divorced because the person they married just wasn't really into what they were about. You know, we're all, I think, born to do something. We all have some kind of passion, some God-given talent. And, of course, me, Winston, I feel like I should be on the radio helping people get the attention they deserve. But other people, they're led to, be an entrepreneur. And we always talk about how important it is to surround yourself with people that are going to support you and uplift you. Now, what happens if you are married to someone that just is always putting you down and saying that your entrepreneurial efforts are worthless? Well, as we've seen on the show, a lot of folks end up getting divorced. So I felt bad because it seemed like we had a track record of bringing people on that were talking about those kind of experiences, and got some emails from people saying, Winston, I'm in corporate America right now. I'd love to get out and start my own business, but after listening to your show, sounds like if I do that, I might end up getting divorced. So I wanted to set the record straight and talk to some power couples, some power entrepreneur couples. And so we've got a couple lined up. In fact, I sent out a message and received over 200 replies from different companies. I'll talk about some of the companies that I'm not going to be able to get on, but I thought I was fascinated with what they do. But today we're going to start with a company called Lawn Jockey, and it's a pretty fascinating story. So I've got Tanner Maxon. Tanner, thanks for joining us today.
Glad to be here.
And I think Missy is on the phone. Are you with us, Missy?
Yeah, I'm here.
So this is the first power couple, and I'm fascinated because Missy, if I understand this correctly, you really weren't naturally an entrepreneur, but here you are, married to a successful entrepreneur, and he's pulled you into that process. So Tanner, first tell me a little bit about how you started Lawn Jockey.
Well, honestly, I was in the Air Force. I was active duty Air Force, and they were doing some restructuring, and they were asking for volunteers to get out, and of course, Missy was tired of seeing me shipped out, so she's like, "Let's jump on that." So I was doing it part-time then, mowing grass, that is, and so we decided to get out, and at least we had that while I was looking for a job. And
as it turned out, that wasn't just a temporary thing. You were good at it, and the team that you assembled to get that done, you started getting just regular work.
It just worked.
And so tell me about that decision. When did it kind of click that it's like, I really don't need to keep looking for a job while I'm doing this part time. This can be my thing. When did that click on for you?
Well, I think like anybody that's going to get out and do something scary, they got to do a lot of research first, and so we did that, and so one of the things we found out is when you get out and you're going to start a business, you got to market like crazy, and so we spent every penny we had on marketing, and that it just got us off and running. And so
at that point, you'd kind of invested so much in it that
yeah, we were all in.
So Missy, what is your experience in being a part of Lawn Jockey, even though it's not maybe your calling? Tell us how you've adapted to being married to this aggressive entrepreneur.
Well, I think when Lawn Jockey actually started, it was stressful at times just to be the support and know that, there's a lot of hours that are put in and a lot of money and things like that and different stressors. But it was easier for me to almost sit back since my hand wasn't directly in, the business inner workings and everything. It was easier for me to just trust that, he was doing his best to make it a success and whatever. And he would still come to me and be like, we might need to invest money in such and such so that we can grow the business. And we'd talk about it and throw ideas back and forth. And inevitably, whatever things we had to do for Lawn Jockey, we would come to an agreement about it before we moved forward. And that's probably just been the easiest. I don't think I have the hard job. I just sit back and watch the business take off while Tanner's doing all the hard work. So.
Well, let me ask you both a question. How important, if at all, to you is the spiritual role of the husband and wife? I mean, does that play into it? Because again, some of the folks we've spoken with, it seems like there was a conflict of, not really having any defined roles in the marriage, and so you had a lack of support. How important has kind of the defined roles of marriage and spirituality played into some of this?
Well, I think a lot of the decisions that we've tried to make, it has to be based around prayer. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if I don't get the feeling like that's where God's leading us, then I almost have a fear in doing it, because then I feel as if God wouldn't necessarily, support us and help us move forward necessarily.
Wouldn't bless that endeavor. I think the reason I'm comfortable talking about that here in Dallas, Texas, because I think here in the Metroplex we're pretty spiritual. We're pretty conservative, pretty spiritual, and that's, I think, a lot of times when you see these successful power couples, the folks that I've spoken with, there is some sort of religious element where, as one of the individuals comes to the table and says, this is what I think we should invest in. The other person might be skeptical, but they still provide that support, and over time they make it work. So I don't know if
and she's being a little standoffish, saying that she doesn't have her hand in it as much, because we Lawn Jockey has come from one company to a complete different one in the last 5 years we've been in business, and Missy's had her hand in just about every part of it, including she's been my landscape designer. She's when we first started, she would go to the nursery and she would be learning about plants, and we'd be we were each other's learning tools. She would go out and learn about one plant and tell me about it, and or go and fetch supplies for us while we were starting. And now of course we don't do the landscaping part, more of the maintenance anymore. But so she's been right in the middle of it the whole time.
I was going to ask, do you feel like some of your entrepreneurial drive has rubbed off on Missy over the years?
Yeah, in our off season, I don't know if she's mentioned this to you much, but we do in the off season in lawn care. There's not much to do in the wintertime, so we install Christmas lights for folks, and Missy does custom pieces for people's interior, and she'll go into their house and she'll clean it all. And not clean it, my bad. She will decorate it with all the Christmas lights and stuff. So, I mean, she sees a place where the family can make money, and she'll dive right in.
I mean, I really like. I'm just picturing the partnership there. Now, do you do this out of your house, or where do you guys actually operate?
I'll leave that one for Missy. That's her favorite answer.
Tell you what, when we come back from the break, we'll find out about where you operate. In the meantime, it's yourlawnjockey.com.
Yourlawnjockey.com.
Very cool. When we come back, we're going to continue speaking with Tanner Maxson and Missy Maxson, one of our power entrepreneur couples. This is the Innovation at Work radio show. I'm Winston Edmondson, and I'll be right back.